Hey everyone, this is Phil, and in this video we will be taking a look at an average of 5 done by my friend Andy. His channel is called CubemodZZ. I will have some information in the description for you guys so you can find the video I will be critiquing. Andy did an average of 5 one-handed using the ZZ method. The average was 20 something, and we're going to help him try to break sub 20 average. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about one thing per solve, so there will be 5 things, and we'll start very specific. I'll talk to, I guess, Andy or whoever's interested about something that specifically I felt could have been better in the solve, and then what'll happen is we'll kind of expand that to a more general principle. For those of you that do ZZ or are interested, some of these might be even applicable to CFOP. Those general principles will help you kind of guide your practice when you practice on your own different scrambles. Let's start off with the first scramble here. And what I noticed was you did the EO line and you solved the left block and you were left with the right block. The cross piece I don't think was solved, and essentially what you did was you solved the back block here, and then you had a pair down here. And I remember the pair was something like this, where you had whatever you did to solve the left block, and then you were left with this, and you paused here for a good amount of time, and then realized, okay, I better do that. What you should work on when you solve your ZZF2L to a point where you have one side left, so either left or right, you should try to combine the steps and try to do it, if not in one look, one physical motion, because that's just pretty much as good as one look, doing it in one physical motion without stopping. This is incredibly easy when you have the cross solved. So say you have the cross piece solved and you want to solve this, it's really easy when you have the cross piece solved. It's not so easy when you don't accidentally solve the cross piece there. When you don't have the cross piece solved, it's really, really awkward. I recommend that you go slowly. And at this point, I know what my next pair is going to be, because this piece will end up here and this piece will be here, so I have to sneak this piece over here like that. So when you do it slowly, you'll kind of predict where the pieces will be, and you can use that to your advantage and not physically pause in between pairs, especially when you don't have to rotate and you're confident you don't have to rotate because you're using ZZ. You should really take advantage of the fact that you don't have to rotate, and it's possible to do everything in one physical motion. So that's my tip for Scramble 1. Whenever you have a left block or a right block or any combination of pairs that doesn't need a rotation, also strive to solve said pairs in one physical motion, and that will definitely tone down your solve. For solve 2, I definitely recommend, this is a last layer thing, I recommend the U-perm that uses that Z rotation. I'll show you exactly what I mean. And also, your AUF choices are a bit questionable. So what you had was this. I'll duplicate it here. So what you had was this, and what you did was you did a U-prime, and then you rotated, and then you did some U-perm. I don't actually know the U-perm this way. I do it this way. I think it's better, but you did something like that. For this one, I recommend actually just doing the U-perm and then AUFing in one motion, and this is doable because if you use this U-perm, you can AUF with an R prime. It's effectively your U prime. So it'll save you the trouble of recognizing the U-perm, AUFing, rotating, and then doing a U-perm. That'll save you some time. For the third scramble, just make sure that you pick an EO line that doesn't look horribly uncomfortable. What your EO line began with was, I think it was like U prime, and then you did an X, and then you did a Western push U, and then you did an X prime, and then another Western push U. And that's, what am I doing? Oh, okay. Anyways, that's not very efficient, and when you're, say, nervous or at a competition, it's going to get worse because of all the cube rotations, and you know, it's not going to be very good for your flow. So um, what you want to do is pick an EO line that not only solves the EO line, but also feels comfortable, so you don't have to rotate that many times when you do it. So I'll give you an example of the EO line here. So um, what you have here is 4 wrong edges in the back and 2 over here. You probably already know that. So what you want to do is you want to pick an EO line that doesn't involve too many rotations, but what you have to do at the same time is be open-minded as to where you start. If you start close enough to the blue face, you can probably rotate back to the blue face and designate it as your front. So you don't have to worry about having the blue face immediately at your fingertips. All right, so what I came up with was, I know that these 4 are wrong, so I'm going to do some form of F or B to correct them, and then I have to solve these 2. And if I'm holding it from this orientation, how I solve these 2 would be F prime, D, and then some form of F move, right? So what you have to do basically is find out first, do some form of back quarter turn from some angle that will also allow you to do F prime, D, and then some other F quarter turn. That's the logic behind the EO here. So the angle I choose is this right here, orange front, blue top, because I can access the designated back face, which is now the down face, with a simple D move right here. And I noticed I also lined up the orange pieces. Now the orange is on its right side. And these pieces, the F prime D F quarter turn, can be done U prime, R U. And now these pieces are opposite, so I can move to do this. And now I have the EO line. All right, so the 4th scramble, it's just pretty simple. Don't mess up the EO line. You know, that sounds like a bit of useless piece of information, but I think it's pretty useful to say that, because the more rotation heavy and the more physically complex your EO line is, the greater chances you know, of your EO line going wrong somewhere. And of course, this is just conjecture. I don't actually know, but it just feels like to me that if you have a ton of rotations and you're moving around a whole lot, your EO line is going to fail sometimes, and you know, you won't realize it until it's too late. So pick an EO line. Again, this relates back to the previous point. Pick an EO line that has a comfortable starting position where you don't have to rotate a bunch, and maybe you'll find that that decreases the number of messed up botched EO lines you have. Now, the last scramble, I really want to talk about your last layer. It's recognition needs work. So what you had, I believe, was this case right here, and you ran into this case and you got it right like this, and this is probably the angle you do, or some maybe U prime away, but this is the angle where you would be most able to recognize it, because you see these same and green and blue are opposite. So this is like your preferred angle. So especially when you get the COLL from your preferred angle, you better recognize it. And the time you spend just waiting shows that you need to practice recognizing COLL more. And COLL is kind of tricky, and this is the same thing with AUGs with a lot of specific small cases embedded in more general cases. You know, you don't run into this case a whole lot unless you solve a whole lot. You know, when I did, I don't know what the actual probabilities are, because I do a lot of funny things, like sometimes corner orientation with last slot or something. But generally, I probably see this once or twice a day, sometimes never. And you know, you don't want to have these not very frequent cases mess you up. So drilling COLL would be advisable so that you know you have a lot of opportunity to practice each case and give each case a lot of attention, and that'll help you recognizing. So that'll help you with recognizing. I forgot the with. Anyways, so you are very close to sub 20. I think the biggest things you need to work on is well, three things. EO line, finding a good sort of starting point. F2L, try not to pause between very, very obvious things where you don't need a rotation. And of course, last layer, some AUF choices, and also recognizing COLL, because those don't happen very frequently. So what I'll do in the last segment of the video is just quickly go through my example solves and what I would do with these 5 scrambles. So let's take a look. All right, so let's do some examples. So this is a 54.6 Fengshi. I kind of use it interchangeably with my mini Zanchi. So yeah, anyways, I definitely, if you're really interested in following, I definitely recommend scrambling your own cube with these scrambles, because some of these scrambles are terrible. I had to look at them already because I had to critique the solves. So I already know what's going on, and I know the scrambles are really horrible. What I would do here is would first figure out that these two are wrong here, these two are wrong, and these two are wrong, giving us a total of 6. And 6 requires some creativity. So what I would do here is put this piece over here, this piece down here, and this piece over here. And I've grouped pretty much 4 edges in the front. Then I would orient them. And I noticed, well, yeah, this was in the plan, but I also noticed now that this green piece is over here. So I want the blue piece to be here. And I can do that when I orient these 2 pieces. So now my line pieces are opposite, and I can solve my line. It's pretty straightforward. And now this is a very short block, like this. Goes like that. And now this is in my face, this pair right here. So I'm going to do that. And I notice this piece over here, it's facing this way. So it creates a 3-move insert with this piece. And this is just an obligatory edge and corner insertion. COLL and U-perm. All right. Okay, so there are 2 wrong edges here, 1, 2, very easy. And when it's easy, I try to solve more cross pieces. Cross pieces solved equals slightly better look ahead for me, because I don't have to guess where the piece is, and I only have to trace 2 pieces instead of a 3rd cross piece, which may not be where I think it is. So what I'm going to do is orient these and just flat out solve the orange piece, solve the green piece, and from here I'd solve the back right slot, so something like this. So this is effectively an EO cross here. So this one and this one, and if this piece is here, it can pair with this piece, like that. And this pair right here. And this is convenient to GLL. Okay, so this one is the one that I already showed you my EO line, so I'm just going to do my EO line. And it's actually a 3/4 cross. What I'm going to do now is the F2L part, so I'm going to solve these 2. And then this conveniently formed. And over here, what I'm going to do is solve these 2 like this, and then this one. And this is COLL and perm. Okay, so this one, now looking at this, I kind of understand why You botch the EO line, it's really hard, and I hate this scramble. And I'd probably just take a quick look at red front. Red's a little bit better, but it's not that much better. So this scramble would actually be hard, and I would actually be a little freaked out if I saw this in a competition. But let's handle it anyway. So I have 2 rung in the back and 2 rung here. So I'm gonna place them in like this, and I'm going to make this blue opposite of the green like this. And now I have the line, and unfortunately this piece is just completely in the wrong spot. So what I'm going to do is solve the back first. So to create the pair, and conveniently this happened. I didn't make it happen, it just did. So I'm going to act on it, and over here I'm going to move it out of the way, slot it, and then re-slot it. And this case. And this one, I can know it's this case because I know it's not the other case. So do the CLL and then perm. All right, so that pretty much ends the example solves section of the video. These scrambles, there was one that was okay. The other ones were actually pretty tough. I think definitely we've all done averages of 5 with better scrambles than the ones you showed me. So yeah, anyways, hopefully this was educational and useful. And even if you're not Andy, I hope you can learn a lot from this video just by taking the specific stuff I said to Andy and kind of generalizing it. So for example, pausing between the 3rd and 4th pair when you don't have to rotate, we can all do that, not just Andy. So yeah, take your time, and you know, hopefully this will be useful. Thank you guys again for watching, and see you in the next video.